So today I'm exploring the streets of Edmonton, Alberta, a city I feel is criminally underrated and sometimes overshadowed by Calgary, which is Alberta's largest city. But the more I explore this city, I come to realize that it doesn't get as much attention as it deserves, especially from an urban planning perspective. Now I know that West Ed was one of the largest malls in the world at one point, but that's not really why I'm here. I'm here because of something special, something unique to Edmonton. Something you wouldn't really expect given this city's history. So in this video, let's explore something that many people don't know about Edmonton. It's the Edmonton River Valley. And this stretch of urban parkland cutting right through the city is the largest continuous stretch of urban parkland in all of North America. And as always, this is Ali, and welcome back to Urban Atlas. But before we talk about the River Valley, let's talk about Edmonton itself. Edmonton sits in central Alberta, right on the North Saskatchewan River. And in the last 10 to 12,000 years, this river has carved out the River Valley I spoke of earlier. Now, as per Stats Canada, the Edmonton metropolitan area has a population of 1.6 million people as of 2024, making it the fifth largest city in the country, and the northernmost city in North America with a population of over 1 million. The River Valley stretches approximately 48 kilometers right through the heart of the city, with a ravine system that extends outward like capillaries, creating this incredibly complex network of natural spaces. The valley walls drop as much as 60 meters in some places, and that's about the height of a 20-story building. What makes it special is the diversity of flora and fauna here. You've got dense boreal forests right on top, and you've got wetlands and patches of prairie grassland right near the river. It truly is an incredible mosaic of ecosystems all within city limits. The valley system includes approximately 30 parks, stretching all the way from Devon to Fort Saskatchewan. There's trails connecting most of the parks together. In total, the park system encompasses over 18,000 acres of parkland. By comparison, Central Park in New York is 843 acres. Something extremely fascinating about the River Valley is that it creates its own microclimate. It's noticeably warmer in the valley than on the prairie level above, especially during the winters. The valley walls provide shelter from the prairie winds, and the vegetation helps moderate temperatures. It's not uncommon for it to be minus 25 up top and then minus 20 down in the valley. But did you know that the valley's strategic importance is why Edmonton exists in the first place? You see, back in 1795, the Hudson Bay Company established Fort Edmonton right here in the River Valley. It was the last major stopping point before traders headed to the northern wilderness. The fort was actually relocated several times due to flooding, eventually moving up to higher ground. When Edmonton was incorporated as a town back in 1892 and later as a city in 1904, it was still relatively small, clustered around the river. So fast forward to 1907, just 3 years after becoming a city, Edmonton then hired Frederick Todd, a landscape architect from Montreal, and his job was to create a comprehensive plan. And Todd's vision was radical for the time: preserve the entire river valley as public parkland. You see, Todd argued that the unstable valley walls were unbuildable anyway, too unstable, too prone to erosion, but rather than seeing this as a limitation, he saw it as an opportunity. He proposed a continuous ribbon of parkland following the river, connected by scenic drives and pathways. However, the full realization of this plan did not occur until much later, because by the early 1900s, the river valley was already a mix of recreational and industrial uses, such as coal mines in the 1880s and brickyards in the early 1900s. Because throughout the early 20th century, there was constant pressure to develop valley land. But between the years of 1907 and 1913, the city began acquiring river valley and ravine lands. Over 100 parkland acquisitions were made between 1907 and 1931. And it was during this time that the city also undertook massive deindustrialization of the river valley. Fast forward to the 1950s and 1960s, the city now faced a crucial moment. Post-war growth was exploding, and the developers, well, they were eyeing that special piece of land in the valley. There was also a proposal to build a highway in the river valley to be used to connect to downtown. But thankfully, Edmonton residents pushed back hard. There was a growing environmental consciousness, and people recognized what they had. The city then doubled down on valley preservation. Perhaps the most important milestone in valley preservation came in 1985, when the city passed the River Valley bylaw, finally offering the park system legal protection. Fast forward to 1992, when the city of Edmonton formalized the Ribbon of Green Master Plan, a comprehensive strategy to not just preserve but enhance the valley system. They established strict developmental setbacks, invested in pathway systems, and committed to acquiring any remaining private land in the valley. But why does any of this matter? Why should anyone care about Edmonton's River Valley from an urban planning perspective? Well, because it represents something we're desperately trying to figure out in the 21st century. How do we build cities that are both dense but livable? And how do we create urban environments that support human well-being and ecological health? You see, most North American cities made a major mistake in the 20th century. As these cities started sprawling out, they destroyed valuable parkland. And as a result, many of these cities have just small, fragmented pockets of parkland within a large metropolitan area. And access to many of these parks is highly inequitable. Think of many of the US's Sunbelt cities. Of course, there will be some exceptions, but as a general rule of thumb, this is what happened in most North American cities. But Edmonton did something different. They preserved this massive natural corridor right through the urban core, and then they built the city around it. And the best part is many of Edmonton's neighborhoods have direct access right to the valley system. Because of this, many Edmontonians across the entire city are only a few kilometers drive away from the River Valley. This isn't a destination park you need to drive to on the weekends. It's actually woven into their daily lives. And the benefits, well, they're immense. Studies show that access to natural spaces like this reduce stress, improve mental health, encourage physical activity, and build community. From an ecological perspective, the valley is a wildlife corridor unlike anything else in urban North America. It supports over 400 plant species and provides habitat for more than 100 bird species. Deer, coyotes, beavers, and the occasional moose live right within the city. The valley acts as the city's lungs, filtering air, absorbing carbon, and managing stormwater. It demonstrates that you can have density without sacrificing access to nature, that you can grow a city without destroying what makes it livable. Modern developments in Edmonton are being designed with the valley in mind. High-density, mixed-use neighborhoods are going up along the valley edge, with the green space as an amenity rather than an afterthought. But like many things in our world, it's not perfect. The valley faces real challenges. Because Edmonton's population has been booming in the last few decades, heavy usage is causing erosion on popular trails. Invasive species like the European buckthorn are spreading. All the while, climate change is altering the river's flow patterns and increasing flood risks. There are, of course, social challenges too. The valley has become home to homeless encampments, creating complex situations that require balance in compassion, public safety, and environmental protection. And development pressures never really go away. There are ongoing debates about everything from valley edge density to whether or not to allow certain types of infrastructure through the valley. The city's current approach is adaptive management, constantly monitoring, adjusting, and investing. Looking forward, the city of Edmonton does have some ambitious plans. The city wants to increase pathway connectivity, restore and protect native ecosystems, create newer, lower-impact amenities that will be designed to minimize environmental impact. There's also a growing movement to recognize and honor the valley's Indigenous history more prominently. This includes new signage, Indigenous-led interpretive programs, and efforts to incorporate traditional ecological knowledge into management practices. So if you are interested in what Edmonton plans to do with the River Valley in the future, I recommend you read the Ribbon of Green Strategic Plan. So during my visit to the Edmonton River Valley, the biggest takeaway I had is that sometimes the best decisions a city can make are the ones that restrict what it can do. By saying no to developing the River Valley, Edmonton said yes to something much more valuable. In an era when we're rethinking our cities, how to make them more sustainable, more livable, and more equitable, Edmonton's River Valley offers us a blueprint, not the only blueprint, but an important one. It shows us that natural infrastructure isn't a luxury, it's actually essential, that long-term thinking can triumph over short-term profit, and that the most valuable real estate in a city might be the land you choose not to build on. I came to Edmonton expecting oil refineries and strip malls, and I did find those. But I also found a city that more than a century ago made a choice to preserve its natural heart. And honestly, I wish more cities would have done the same. And as always, if you like content like this, remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if you like content like this, you're in luck because I'm planning on making more videos about underrated cities and more urban planning success stories. And if you are from Edmonton or have visited the River Valley, let me know in the comments below what changes, if any, you'd like to see take place here. And also let me know in the comments below which city you'd like me to take a look at next. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It really helps me stay motivated to keep making content like this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.